Pilot letterman. We have to hold.
So senior enlisted over here as well.
Bam, right on in.
Quality. We can then shut this.
Right now, somewhere beneath the Pacific Ocean, 135 Americans are at work. They haven't seen sunlight in 47 days, no phone calls, no news from home, and without checking a clock, no way to know if it's Tuesday or Saturday. The machine they live inside is 377 feet long. It moves silently through water at depths most submarines can't reach. And nobody outside the United States Navy knows exactly where it is. This isn't a punishment. This isn't a prison. This is just Tuesday. Introduction. Most people think a nuclear submarine is defined by its firepower. That assumption misses the real story. The hardest problem on a $4 billion warship isn't the reactor, the sonar, or the weapons. It's keeping 135 human beings alive, focused, and mission ready, sealed inside a steel tube, with no resupply, no sunlight, and no way home, for 90 days straight. The answer involves 4,000 pounds of food, an 18-hour day cycle that rewrites your internal clock, and a selection process that turns away 1 in 3 candidates before they ever set foot on a boat. This isn't a documentary about weapons. This is what daily life actually looks like inside one of the most advanced machines ever built. In the next 15 minutes, we go inside the Virginia-class submarine, the machine, the daily routines, the silence, and the people who chose to live this way. If you respect the men and women serving beneath the ocean right now, type proud in the comments. The machine. The USS Virginia is 377 feet long. Put it on a football field and it hangs off both ends. It displaces 7,800 tons when submerged. The hull is HY-100 steel, engineered to hold its shape under pressures that would buckle ordinary metal. At the center sits a single S9G nuclear reactor. It produces enough electricity to power a small city and never needs refueling, not once, for the entire lifespan of the submarine. Decades of operation. One fuel load. In theory, the boat could stay at sea indefinitely. The crew is the only thing that brings it home. Inside, the Virginia is divided into watertight compartments. Forward holds the torpedo room, the berthing spaces, and the control room. Aft holds the engineering spaces and propulsion plant. Every major section sealed by hatches that close completely in under 30 seconds. Every inch of interior space is used. Pipes run along the ceiling, cables cover the walls. Some passageways are 26 inches wide, barely enough for 2 sailors to pass each other sideways. There are no windows. Not one. The only view of the ocean is through instruments, read by people trained to understand them in total darkness if necessary. But here's what most people miss. None of the weapons, none of the sensors, none of the technology works without the 135 people maintaining it around the clock, keeping those people healthy, alert, and mentally stable for 90 days straight. That's the real engineering challenge. That's what the rest of this video is about. The 18-hour world. The submarine doesn't run on a 24-hour day. It runs on 18. 6 hours on watch, 12 hours off. That cycle repeats continuously for the entire patrol. After a few weeks, your internal clock drifts completely away from the surface world. Tuesday and Saturday stop meaning anything. The only time that matters is your watch time and your off time. The sleeping berths are called racks. 6 feet 2 inches long, 22 inches wide, 18 inches of clearance above your face, 4-inch mattress. A pull-across curtain is the only separation between you and the passageway. That curtain is the only private space you'll have for 3 months. Some boats run hot racking. 2 sailors share one bunk on alternating shifts. You climb in, and the sheets are still warm from the person before you. Now, food. This is where the numbers get interesting. The Navy allocates more per-day food funding to submarine crews than almost any other service. The galley runs 4 meals every 24 hours: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and mid-rats, which is midnight rations, a full hot meal at 2 in the morning. Daily food cost for a single boat around $2,500. The cooks, culinary specialists in Navy terminology, are considered some of the most important people on board. Not because of rank, because morale is directly tied to what's on the plate. A bad meal at 400 feet below the surface has no fix, no delivery, no alternative. There is no stepping outside for a break. 4,000 pounds of food are loaded before each patrol, every pound logged. When the supply hits a set threshold, the mission ends. The food supply sets the clock on when the submarine comes home. Quick pause. If you're finding this interesting, hit subscribe. Most people watch without ever subscribing, and it genuinely helps the channel keep going. The silence. Here's something most people don't understand about submarine operations. The entire mission depends on not being heard, not relatively quiet, completely silent, maintained across every department, every watch for the whole patrol. The outer hull is covered in anechoic tiles, rubber panels that absorb incoming sonar rather than bouncing it back. The propeller is precision machined to minimize cavitation noise. Crew members wear soft-soled boots throughout the boat. Nobody runs inside the submarine. Nobody raises their voice. Tools get placed down carefully. Metal touching metal, avoided wherever possible. This isn't about culture. It's tactics. Sound moves 4 times faster through water than through air. A submarine that makes noise has failed its mission. Regardless of everything else, it does right. The control room is the center of it all. The officer of the deck manages depth, speed, and heading. Sonar operators sit for hours, headphones on, analyzing everything the ocean produces, not searching for threats specifically, listening to everything. Shipping lanes, marine life, deep pressure signatures, any change from the baseline, logged and analyzed. At 400 feet, the ocean pushes 185 pounds per square inch against the hull. That's the equivalent weight of a car pressing on every single square inch of steel. At the same time, the hull flexes under that load. Not cracks, flexes. Engineered to absorb that pressure the same way a bridge absorbs traffic. The crew knows this. They've read the engineering. They trust the math. And they work in total silence. The crew. Getting onto a submarine isn't just a matter of volunteering. The selection process includes psychological screening that goes well beyond standard military requirements. Candidates are evaluated for claustrophobia, but also for how they handle long-term stress without an exit, how they manage conflict when there's nowhere to walk away to, whether they can function without outside validation for months at a time. 1 in 3 don't make it past initial screening. Those who do report to a boat and begin a 12-month qualification pipeline. Every sailor must prove they know every system on the submarine,
that was earlier this year.
Every valve, every emergency procedure, every damage control station, every escape route. The qualification exam is oral, 2 hours, in front of a panel of experienced submariners. Either you know the boat, or you don't qualify. there's no partial credit. Sailors who pass receive the submarine warfare insignia, the dolphins, and ceremony run by the crew, one of the most respected qualifications in the U.S. military. During deployment, contact with family runs through a system called the Family-gram. Family members can send messages of exactly 40 words, maximum. Those messages are reviewed before delivery. Anything that might affect focus gets held back. 40 words. That's the window into the life they left behind. To fill the gap, the crew builds its own world inside the hull. Movie screenings in the torpedo room, makeshift workouts wherever space exists, card games after midnight rations. In the absence of connection to the outside, connection inside the submarine becomes the priority. The honest limitations. The full picture isn't all mission readiness and discipline. The 18-hour day cycle disrupts sleep permanently. Sailors consistently report difficulty getting back to a normal schedule after returning from deployment. Vitamin D deficiency is a documented outcome of extended submerged patrols, managed with supplements but not fully solved by artificial lighting. The separation from family, compounded by the 40-word limit, shows up repeatedly in Navy retention data as the primary reason sailors choose not to re-enlist after their first sea tour. The submarine force has some of the most demanding technical qualifications in the military. It also has some of the highest voluntary exit rates at first re-enlistment. The Navy has responded with better family support programs, retention bonuses, and improved berthing on newer designs. But the core tension between what extended submerged operations require and what humans actually need hasn't been resolved. It gets managed. That's the honest answer. Conclusion: 90 days, no sunlight, no calls home, no news from the outside world, no sky. 90 days inside a sealed machine, moving silently through the deepest, most pressurized environment a human being can occupy, crewed entirely by volunteers who chose to be there. When the Virginia-class submarine finally surfaces, and it does, the first thing most sailors do is the same thing. They look up. Not at the dock, not at the people waiting, at the sky. Because for 3 months, the sky didn't exist. The Virginia-class is the most capable attack submarine ever built. Its reactor is a landmark of engineering. Its sensors set the global standard for underwater intelligence. But the most sophisticated component on board isn't listed in any technical specification. It's the crew. And now you know what their life actually looks like. If this showed you something you didn't know existed, subscribe. We go inside these systems, these ships, and these people every single week.